Just now we have started a recording. I will request all the members to give your name and membership number in chat box. Also fill the Google form for CP attendance. We will start session in 1 minute.
Sir, where is the Google form?
We will share you, sir. Now we will share you the Google form.
Okay, on mail or?
No. In chat box only we will give you the link. You have to just click that link and fill the details.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Nachiket sir, can we start the session? Nachiket sir?
Yes, we can start.
Okay.
I'm just connecting my Bluetooth headset. And
so once you're ready, kindly let me know. Then I will start the session.
Probably in 60 seconds flat we can.
Okay, no issue. I will wait for that.
Yeah. Just connected my Bluetooth headset. Is my voice well audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So, thanks for your confirmation. So just let me know if you are good to start or are we going to wait or how? Should I get started?
Give me 1 minute.
Okay. Just
Okay.
confirm and let me know.
No, we are starting now the session. Good evening. Myself CMA Vinayak Kulkarni and on behalf of CMA Ashish Bhavsa, I welcome you all for the series of webinar on Excel macro. Today is our fourth session of the series. The topic will be covered in today's session will be do until loop. Do until loop. Do while loop. For each next loop, defining a label, go to label. The speaker for the whole series of webinars is Shri Nachiket Pendakar sir. He is a Microsoft certified trainer and Excel expert. With this short introduction, I welcome our today's speaker, Shri Nachiket Pendakar sir. Sir, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinayak Kulkarni sir. So my apologies to everybody. I joined a little late because there were some power issues at my end, and because of that I couldn't join before. Thankfully for all of us, the power came back in good time, and that way by the time everybody joins, I think we are starting. So barring a 5 minutes delay than our usual start time, I think we haven't lost much. All right. So I would like to get started for this week. This week again we are having 2 sessions today and day after tomorrow, and I think we are going to have one last discussion with respect to ABCD. Okay, with respect to the basics, so to say, and then we will get started with the actual macros. Okay. So I request everyone, like we have an official outline for every session, but just as some of the loops actually we have already discussed last time. So on the other hand, from the last time's agenda, dialog boxes is pending. So let us finish the file on dialog boxes and then we can approach the macros. Okay. So I request everybody to open up a file called 03dialogboxes.xlsn. Let me share my screen for this purpose. Okay, I am sharing my screen. I hope it is visible to everybody. And let me also share the Excel file. So actually Excel file needs to be opened at my end also. Just opening it. Okay, so I'm getting this message today again. I switched my device for some reason. So I'm getting this message that Microsoft has blocked the macros. This happens many times, right? So we know the solution for this now. I'm getting this pink colored thing. That's because I downloaded it from internet. So I'll just go to my downloads. Here's my file, and what I'll do, I'll just do a right click properties. Okay, this is known to many of you, but I'm just showing it once more. We do a right click properties, right click properties for this file actually, and this file is merely of 16 KB, and we get this unblock checkbox. Okay, we have this checkbox called unblock. If I take this and press OK, now I can open this file with more confidence. Okay, if I'm opening this file, I have the option of clearing this, of rather enabling the macros. So we need a developer tab. Why it did not ask me? Let me check. If I go to developer macro security, it says enable VBA macros. For some reason, for this particular machine, it is enable VBA macros. I don't really agree with that level because it simply doesn't give you a chance to protect yourself from malicious code. So I'll select the second option, which is disable VBA macros with notification, and then I press OK. Maybe then I'll just save and open this file once more. Okay, incidentally, we are doing revision of what we learned on day one. A few sessions have elapsed, a few days have elapsed. So a revision may not be a bad idea. Thanks to the change in the security setting, what we did was we went to developer macro security, and in the macro settings, we shifted from enable VBA macros to disable VBA macros with notification. What is the result of that? Result of that is I get this security warning that macros have been disabled. Enable content. Would you like to enable it? Okay, let's enable it. Okay, now the macros are enabled. Okay, has everyone opened the file? Okay, uh, maybe you are not required to do all these things like me, but I hope just one second. I hope you can open the file and work with it. Some issue with this. Okay, let me just try. Some momentary issue, inexplicable one. Okay, now we get it. So this is magnifier, but then 200% is too much. I would like to change the zoom increment to 25% and would like to rather bring this to 150%. 150% is fine. Okay, now everyone can see better, I hope. But what we are more keen at is the macro. So we have this file called dialog boxes, and this again contains some pre-written code. Let us examine some pre-written code first, and then we'll see the other thing. How to access the pre-written code? Now you know it. You need to go to developer tab, and then you need to click on Visual Basic. That is one way. Okay, the keyboard shortcut is Alt F11. That is another way. So you just press Alt F11. If you press Alt F11, then this opens up. Okay, are you able to open this window? Okay, Alt F11 is the keyboard shortcut. On the other hand, if you are more comfortable with mouse, you can come to Developer and Visual Basic. Okay, Developer, Visual Basic, as you click, this window opens up, doesn't it? Let me see, can I access the chats today? I think today I can see the chats. Okay, so you can either type your question in the chat box or you can voice out your questions. Okay, the file has been shared. Sorry, the link for the files has been shared already just a few minutes back, so you can pick it up from there. All right. Okay, barring one or two exceptions, most of you already have these files. So now I'm just going to go ahead with the examination of this macro code. How do we examine this macro code? What is the keyboard shortcut? Now I want some participation from the audience also, because this is not our first or second session. We already have finished a number of sessions. So suppose if I want to start the execution of this code, there is this module 1 which belongs to the VBA project 02 dialog box. And if I visit the module 1, I can see there is a subroutine with the name dialog_box. Okay, if I want to just explore this and I want to run it one by one, step by step, so what can I do? Some keyboard shortcut can you suggest?
F8 key.
F8 key, correct? A couple of you have already typed and somebody spoke also, so very good. We can press the F8 key. So on pressing F8 key, we get this yellow highlighting, and whatever is highlighted in yellow is about to be executed. So let us start. We are about to start. Let us start. I'll press F8. Now it skips this green line and directly comes to this black line, which is not a matter of surprise for me, because green line we all know now. A green line only means what do you say? Just an indicative code. Okay, it is just a remark actually. Okay. So simple message box. What is a simple message box? So there is a command called msg box, followed by something written in a pair of double inverted commas. We can see that. Okay, some command msg box. Okay, it is not message box with full spelling. It is msg box. Okay, msg box, that is the command, and the phrase is written in a pair of double inverted commas. Life is great. Okay, so in msg box we have life is great. What happens when I press F8? I get this message, life is great. Are you getting this message? Okay, life is great. When you press F8, do you get this message? So that means we can design our own messages. In Excel, we can design our own messages, and that way we can just flash notifications in between. This is a very simple message box. Okay, there are no other properties that we are exploring. Basic notification, and if you agree with that, if you don't have anything further to say, whether you have whether you have anything to say further or you don't have, the only button that you have is OK. So when you press OK button, it takes you ahead. For some reason, it is taking me ahead much more. Okay, so I think for some reason it's the execution went at its own pace. So I'll just repeat. Okay, we have this MSG box, and I put a breakpoint here. What happened was, for some reason which is beyond my comprehension, but when I pressed OK, macro simply went on, and when it went on, it did not stop. It executed the entire code. Okay, so there I have got something here in the C5 and D5 also. I'll just delete the cells. Okay, delete this object also. Okay, it generated many things actually at the end. I don't want to take that risk once more. Somehow my macro simply went on. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a break over here. And we learned this concept also last time, that if you want to halt the execution of the code at any point of time. Now this is more from a safer side. I'm putting it here. I've got this pop-up. There's some variable called pop-up and it has been defined. So I just click here. I put a break. Another way of putting that break is you go to debug tab and then you can click on this toggle breakpoint. Okay. So toggle breakpoint wherever it is allowed. You can come to debug and you can click on toggle breakpoint, or F9 is the keyboard shortcut. You can use that also. Okay, so I'll just repeat what I did. I pressed F8, I got this message box, life is great, simply. I press OK and it proceeds and it halts over here. Okay, because of the breakpoint, it halts over here. Now, what do I have before that? Actually, after the MSG box, life is great, I had one green colored line, which is just a remarks line. It says involving variables. So in the previous draft, in the previous example, the way the command was written, it was MSG box followed by the command, followed by the prompt, followed by the message. The message is a very simple message, as you might see. Life is great. Okay, and that is written in a very simple way. Another thing is you can involve a variable. So now let's have a look at that. Dim pop-up as string. A dim pop-up as string. Dim command we all are aware. Last time we saw that pop-up is a variable here and it has been assigned the variable type as string. That means it can hold text. Okay, string is nothing else, but string is the wording for text. Okay, textual values can be shown. Okay, and now you have the next line where you say pop-up equal to life is great. If you bring your mouse pointer, this line is yet to be executed. It is about to be executed, but it is yet to be executed. So as of now, when I bring my mouse pointer close to that pop-up word, it shows that pop-up is blank. Pop-up equal to double quotes back to back indicating blank. And now the next line, what is it going to do? It will define pop-up as life is great. So this same text that you had above is now about to be assigned to a variable called pop-up. So if I press F8, now we have pop-up which is defined. Before I go for the flashing of the message box, I would like to put my breakpoint here against tran date, just in case something goes wrong. I would like to insert a break. Okay, tran date. Now MSG box pop up. Should we execute it? It is yet to be executed. When I press F8, I see the same message. This is exactly the same message. But how did you achieve this? So we achieved this by assigning this value to a variable. Okay, the variable was pop-up, and to that pop-up variable this value was assigned. Alright. So I'll press OK button here. And then it comes down here. Okay, is everybody following the discussion? Are you understanding the discussion? All of you? Hello? Either speak out or you can indicate whether you are following or not following in the chat box. If you are not following,
Yes,
you
sir.
can write
Yes,
not
sir.
following.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So Sampath Babuji is following it, Shailaja ji is following it, and maybe some more people. Asmi has also given her nod. Not sure about the others. Nisha is with me. Okay, great. Right. Very good. Very nice. Sometimes I wonder because it's an online session, so we don't come to know whether you are actually following, not following, to the extent whether you are actually there or no, whether you have kept the webinar on and you have gone elsewhere, or maybe we are busy into something else. Okay, there is no means for us to check. So this is one challenge in front of us. But since everybody is a part of a matured audience, so I'll expect questions from you like the earlier sessions. I'll expect that you will perhaps interrupt me wherever required, and you can seek explanations or you can share your thoughts. Right? I think till here everyone's with me, so I would like to move ahead. Okay, this is MSG box basically. Now picking up data from Excel sheet. Okay, okay, we need something in trend date. I think this file is empty. We don't have anything in trend date. So I request everyone to, before we proceed, please come to this sheet and in its A1 cell, let us enter today's date. And a very simple keyboard shortcut to enter today's date is Control key followed by semicolon key. I have typed that in the chat box also. It is Control followed by semicolon. Okay. What is this keyboard shortcut? To populate today's date. Now, what do you mean by today? This definition of today changes every day. So whatever is the definition of today as of now? So that's 13 February of 2023. If I press Control semicolon, that's exactly the data I get, don't I? I request everyone to put this date in A1 cell. Put today's date in A1 cell so that A1 gets filled with something. And let us not quarrel on this point that, oh, what appears at your end is 13-02. What appears at my end is 02/13. Okay, those DDMM, MMDD issues, they arise, not issues actually, they are not issues, but they are differences. And those differences arise simply because your local settings can be different. Maybe we talked about this before, but let me just repeat it. If you glance at the bottom right corner of your screen, okay, where you have your Windows taskbar at the extreme right, at the bottom you might see today's date. How does that date appear on this taskbar, which is nothing else but part of your operating system? In the same manner, it's going to appear here. Okay, so it really depends on your local operating system level settings. Clear, everybody? If this basic idea is clear, this is more of Excel and nothing to do with VBA. But if that part is clear, then I would like to come to VBA, come back to this window. The first line before that, I'm now going to skip the green ones. Okay, I'm not really going to discuss the green ones. The green ones are pretty self-explanatory, I suppose. So read them for yourself. I'll come to blue and black lines. So here I have dim trend date as date and alert as string. Was it necessary to execute this command separately? This is merely a declaration. We are declaring the variables. I am saying that trend date is a date and alert is a string. So in trend date, store only dates, don't store values other than dates. Whereas in alert, you store each and everything that may qualify as an alphabetic value or an alphanumeric value, or maybe something that could be alphanumeric, could be numeric purely, but then it can be stored as a text. Okay, so if you define something as string, then any value will be stored as a text, even though it may look like numerical, but it will be stored as a text. Okay, anyways, right now for alert, we are not expecting numeric. And then I'm going to execute this command, trend date. Before I do that, I'll remove the breakpoint. Trend date equal to range A1. If you bring your mouse pointer here, the trend date is yet to be defined. While it is yet to be defined, how it has been formatted 00:00:00, because it is undefined, so it doesn't have any particular value. But then how should I show? Because it is formatted as date, because it is declared as a date, so this is shown in a date format. Okay, actually this is time format if you ask me, but date and time format. Okay. Now I'll just press F8. Now trend date, this value is picked up from A1. I hope prior to that execution, you have already typed today's date in A1. And now trend date, if I bring it close to this, what is trend date? It's the same value, which here is the value present in A1. Right, so we have got trend date. Okay. Any questions, ask me now. Because the next command is very interesting. I would like to take up that command only after you are clear. Yes, please.
See, what does this mean? Dim translate as date, comma, alert as string. Why is there two sort of?
So here I am just doing a little bit of economy. Another idea could be you could have written it this way. I could have removed this comma. Okay, oops. Not able to demonstrate here. What it is saying is it will reset my project. So I'll not reset it, but I'll tell you what's the idea. The alternative to this could be you take a line break over here. Don't put a comma, take a line break and then write dim alert as string. So then you are taking more lines also. And secondly, you need to write dim word before every variable. So here I am doing a little bit of economy. Okay. Anyways, width wise, this is not a very wide sentence. Okay. This sentence has 4 simple words. Okay. Maybe even if I add some more words, horizontally it won't be too cluttered. So what I do is I declare one variable. And because I'm writing on the same line, you can take a little liberty, just put a comma and declare the second variable. Then you can put a comma and declare another variable. You can go on.
So meaning there are two variables. One is trend date and other is alert, right?
Correct. Okay. There are two variables which we'll be using, and both the variables are of different kinds. So one has been declared as a date. That what should be stored in this variable? Only a date. What should be stored in this variable? It's another variable. Only string values, that is text values, will be stored.
Sir, the doubt came only because the first variable name started with a capital letter and second variable name started with a small letter.
Yeah, variable name. Good point you have brought out. Just in case there is some confusion or there is some own thoughts on that, let me clarify that variables may have any case. Excel is not particularly bothered about the case. Okay, a case can be anything. So I suppose why I wrote this in caps. In fact, two alphabets I have written in capitals. One is trend date ka T and then date ka D. So that's because basically it's more like a mnemonic that you have. So trend date. So just to indicate that it's a combination of two words, I might have involved it that way. I might have defined it that way. But then my natural impulse is to write the variables in lowercase. So you can see a numerous examples like that, like alert over here. We have pop up. Okay, and some more variables at the top or at the bottom. You can see most of them. Probably there was a scope to write one of the characters as capital, the first character. Okay, I have not written that. It need not be first because it's just a variable. It's up to you. But then I have written everything in lowercase, most of the variables. Okay, why I do so? Uh, I do so because there is a reason for that. That ordinarily when we write the commands, then Excel automatically makes them capital. Okay, for example, if I write a command like this, application dot or just not start. So worksheets ABC dot select. Now I have typed the entire phrase in lowercase except ABC, but ABC seems to be the the name of a particular sheet. And I'm saying that so and so worksheet should be selected. I have written the word worksheets completely in lowercase. Select is also in lowercase. Okay. And then when I press enter, can you see any difference? In worksheets word and select word, can you see any difference? Their first alphabets are automatically made capital by Excel, right? We did not type them in capital to begin with, but they were automatically made capital. Yes or no?
Okay.
So what I do is, let's say if I want to write any command or I want to write any variable, suppose the variable is date, I will attempt to write it in lowercase. But then if I go down and that D becomes capital, then I realize that, oh, date is not a variable actually, date is a command here. Okay, not each and every alphanumeric combination can be variables because some of them are commands, some of them are pretty much standard, like column. Column by itself cannot be a variable. If you just write column, can you see C becomes capital? So column, row, these cannot be variables by themselves. You may have to write something like last row. That is fine. Okay, so I make sure that the entire spelling I write in lowercase, maybe some exception I showed in case of this strand date. Okay, so variables can be of any case. You need not really bother about them. And my strong recommendation is actually don't use the uppercase. It just helps to distinguish between the variable and some command. Okay. Now I would like to move on. Yeah. Next
So
question.
does it mean that the commands are by default starting with capital, right?
Yes. Commands by default when you type, whether you wanted to write it that way or you don't, but then it will always be made that way. Now look at this MSG box. Even if I write MSG box, okay, and then I write in a double inverted commas or some random command. If I press enter, just observe that everything is in lowercase, and then when I come here and press enter, can you see Excel has automatically made it capital? Okay, so it's a very much correct conclusion that Excel automatically makes the commands capital.
Yes.
And that's where you should take advantage of that and write variables in lowercase.
Okay.
So that point number one, if you read the program from top to bottom very quickly, you can understand where is variable and where is not a variable. And secondly, by mistake, if you write a command as a variable, okay, you end up writing a command that will also get caught.
Clear, sir. Point well explained.
Clear?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. So let's today we had discussed that this LHS and RHS is not exactly like school algebra. In school algebra, you could have also written this entire thing equal to alert. Okay, and that is correct mathematically. Okay, so 4 by 25 is equal to 5 by 25. 5 by 20, sorry. 4 by 25 is equal to 5 by 20. Okay, now I can put it anyhow. I can also say that 4 by, sorry, I made a mistake. Yeah, 4 by 25 I said. Nah. I could have written this also. That's what school mathematics teaches us. Not in program. In program, alert is the recipient, and what is it receiving? It is receiving this entire message. Okay. Here we have a concatenate here. What we might see is we have alert. Okay. And we have a concatenate. Transaction date is this. And then there is an ampersand. Does this ampersand look familiar? Where have you seen ampersand? Hello?
For concatenate.
Have you used in Excel for concatenate? Just for the knowledge of everybody, let me demonstrate. Okay, just watch this. No need to do this. A, B, C, and PQR. If I have got two values, and if I want to just place them one ahead of the other, I might write an expression equal to this value ampersand PQR. Okay, the first value ampersand, second value. That and symbol is called ampersand. So I'll just pronounce it as ampersand because and is a function also in Excel. Not only in Excel but in VB also it's a command. So I'll rather call it ampersand just to distinguish. So H3 ampersand H4, and when I press enter, the values simply stand in front of each other. So now that kind of a concatenation, that kind of a joining I'm doing. I'm saying here's the alert. Okay. Alert is a recipient. It's not equivalent. On the left hand side, it's always the recipient. On the right hand side, it's being received from this. Okay, what is being received? The transaction date is, there is a one character space as you might notice. And then the date comes up. Okay, so this entire thing is there. We'll understand that. So this is the first part. I want to flash a notification where I'm saying that the transaction date is this, but hold it. Against that, there is one more element, and that element is enclosed in a function. Okay, I'll come to the function part a bit later. Can I just demonstrate what if I remove the function? So what I'll do is just for a moment, you may simply watch if you prefer. You need not do this. Okay, I'll make a copy of this alert. This alert I copy and I paste it here. Okay, and then what we see is this transaction date is, so I'll just remove the function. I think I'll retain this tran date, and except the word tran date, I'll remove everything. Okay, I've made a copy of the previous line above. Okay, make it above. If you press enter here, you can just push this down. You can copy something, paste it above. That is perfectly acceptable. Okay, macro is in break mode, doesn't matter. Okay, right now I'll keep them together. And if you want, you can separate. Okay. So now, are we getting the drift? What might happen? I'll just click and drag this upward. Okay, forget this function. There is a function used here. But forget that. Just let's just go with the plain value. If I bring my mouse pointer close to tran date, you can see today's date. And now the message is the transaction date is. Then put a single inverted comma. Sorry, double inverted comma. Then put an ampersand and then tran date. So what do we have in tran date? This date. So they are going to get joined. So what kind of output? Let us see when I press F5, sorry, F8, not F5. When I press F8, now alert is no more blank. If I bring my mouse pointer, this is what I get. Okay, are you getting it? Or are you convinced? I had not asked you to do this. So, right, this is how the alert will look now. Okay, and then I've got this MSG box alert. Okay, I'll come to that later. Let us see this second part. What we have. Now let's say I've got a variable. Let me just see what kind of function can I do. I think which one should I take? I take something very simple. say max. I'll go for max. And then if I open bracket, then I get so many arguments. That's because you are supposed to write the numbers or indicate the range. Both are allowed. If you write the numbers, I'll just write a few numbers at random. 0, 2, 50. Some numbers, few of them. And now if I close bracket and come down, okay, it was expecting a variable. So if I just write a variable called ABC. Okay, don't do this, just watch. I use a variable called ABC, and to that I assign this value where I'm only talking about the function. So what that function is going to do, this function is going to behave like max function. Do I have max function in Excel sheet? If I come here, okay, we do have max. We have some other functions also, but right now we're talking about max. We have 4 numbers, and we can use them, and we can get the max. So I hope you are getting the point. The point that I'm trying to drive over here is that we have the application.worksheet function command through which we can retrieve any function, or not any necessarily, but most of the functions that we have in Excel sheet can now be used here. Okay, is everyone getting that part? Okay, the functions can be retrieved. That is the main thing. Now here, which function has been used? Application.worksheet function.text. So this may not be known to everybody, but there is an Excel function called text. If I come here, equals to sign and text, there is a function called text. What does it do? Converts a value to text. Okay, so many functions are there. Out of this text has been used. What is text function? Don't try to learn the functions here. If you are aware, that is great. If you are not aware, learn from Excel. Develop a little command on that and then come back. I think I'm already in Excel. For some reason, I think because now I'll be able to insert. So what is text function? You can show something and you can control its look or property. So you have the second argument called format text. Okay, first argument is the value. For which value do you want to change the format? Tell us. Okay, so I tell Excel this is the value. And what should be your format? So you can write any format. So maybe general. Okay, I'm getting this one. So this is general format, but then I'm getting a number. That number is a little funny. But this number represents today's date. Okay, some of you might be aware that Excel stores the data, especially dates, as numbers. Okay, so this is a number. Okay, is everybody clear on this part? You can use text function to assign any format. I mean, I could have always gone to home tab and I would have said, okay, let's just take this or something. Okay, we have the text. Now what will be happening over here? I'm saying you may have your trend date, and I don't know what is your system and what it follows. Okay, in all likelihood, at least for a few persons, this trend date might be appearing as 02 forward slash 13 forward slash 2033. Either forward or backward slash. Let me simply call it slash. Okay, 02/13/2023. Do we have people like them? Okay, we have such people in the class today. Some of you all are getting a different format. Okay. So now what's going to happen? Last time we learned a tool called watch window, right? Do you remember? Now somewhat similar, we'll see another rule or another tool rather. I would like to quickly understand what will be the value of this. This value is not the full value, it's going to be concatenated with this phrase. Before I do that, before I actually execute that, I'm just curious, only this much portion, what does it yield? If you want to quickly test one portion of your code, okay, typically we do that, these things when we want to see separately, then these functions or these portions rather, the code we do that in immediate window. Where there is a window called immediate window. We can do that as a part of this also, watch window. I'm not denying that. But here you are not keen on watching it. You are more keen on quickly evaluating it. Okay. And then you don't perhaps expect that this value will get revised. Okay, revision might be happening, but let me just understand where it is. So I go to View tab, and can you see immediate window? The keyboard shortcut is Control G. Okay, Control G in Excel is for go to. Okay, here it is for immediate window. So if I press Control G, or if I click here, I get the immediate window at the bottom. Can you see that? Okay, immediate window. Immediately, quickly, if you want to evaluate something. So only this much portion I copy. I would like to see what kind of format gets assigned to the date. Tran date definitely contains a date, but then the question is which format. So I just experimented here. I come here. Now, how will you use immediate window? You put a question mark direction. So first the question mark, then you paste your expression. Okay, ordinarily copy paste is highly advocated, even though the words are small and few. But I'll strongly recommend that you must use this. You must copy the entire expression. That's better. Okay. Now if I press enter, I get this. This is evaluation. I'm not saying that this phrase is a variable and that such variable holds this value. On the contrary, we are borrowing the value. Okay, perhaps this Tran date was already defined elsewhere, correct? So taking advantage of that Tran date. Okay, so we get this evaluation here. We are on hitting enter, depending upon how you have written it. Okay. This is the answer. And this format, more than the solution. Okay, this particular format has been written and that exact format has been replicated. Can you notice that?
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, apart from the date itself.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, please? When I tried this, my cursor is in A1 only on the date 13/2023. But when I did the question mark in the immediate window and put that function there, it returned to me 00 Jan 00. It returned a value of some blank cells, it seems.
Maybe your Tran date is not defined yet. Where is your yellow highlighting? My yellow highlighting is ahead. I first defined Tran date at some point and then I went ahead.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else is having any question? Are you understanding application.worksheet function? I am devoting good time.
So how did we go to immediate?
Sorry, immediate is view tab. From view tab you will get it. Go to view
thanks.
and we have Control G. Where's it gone? Ah, yeah. Control G. Okay, explore this. This will open a new dimension, application.worksheet function. Okay, these will be the first two words, and then your third word can be, or not only can be, but rather should be an Excel function coming from a function library of Excel. So that has added a new dimension to this tool, and now it's a very popular one. Okay, that is immediate window for you. Okay, so now what is going to happen if I try to evaluate everything? Okay, I evaluated one portion and the result for that. What we are going to get in immediate window is result, not the content of what is stored inside a variable. Ultimately, what result we get this. Okay. Now I may come a little down and I may talk about the entire thing. Now I have understood one part. I have understood that what I have ahead is the date, and the date was in DD-MMM. So I wanted an alphabetic representation of the month. This entire thing, if I copy the entire RHS, okay, entire RHS over here, I'm copying. Okay. So now just put my question mark here. The starting point is always a question mark. Put your question mark and then paste it, whatever you have typed. Either you can type it out or paste it. And now this is what I get. Here's my output. Okay, is everybody with me? Yeah. Okay, why we did this? Because the underlying idea is that this tool won't be used only once. You will use it again and again, day in, day out. And in that case, you should get a message box where one portion is static and one portion is dynamic. So this portion is static, isn't it? Anything may happen. Okay, you may remove this, you may replace this with something else, but this will stay. Anyways. Okay, and what was I? Yeah. When I hit enter, I get this entire evaluation. The second portion is a variable. Okay, this portion is a variable, this portion is a fixed value. I combine both of them and that gives you more power. Now, if you run this tomorrow you will automatically get 14 Feb. Okay, that is especially if you have if you update here also. Okay, whatever you update with, the same will get reflected. Okay, in the immediate window. Okay, any questions on immediate window? Have you understood what immediate window does? You can press F8 and see when you press F8. Okay, this alert is revised. Okay, alert is regenerated. Okay, and then this is also a useless line. Actually, I wrote something. I'll come to the genuine line. There is this one, and I press F8. I get this. Now, this is another notification by Excel that the transaction date is 13th Feb. Okay. Sorry. Okay, is everybody clear till here? Acha, Krishna ji, you are getting the result 00 Jan. Krishna ji, just check whether this line was executed, tran date. The tran date needs to be defined first. And then what is happening if you observe, we are involving tran date. So now this becomes tran date. Okay. Now let's try the next one, should we? Is it working, Krishna ji? Survey. Just check whether your trend date is defined. You can go to watch window. You can go to view and watch window just in case you want to. And then you can define an expression. You can say add watch, and for which one? What was that? Trend date, right? I'll just write here trend date, and rest looks okay. Do you watch expression? Then I press OK. So my trend date value is 13/5 of 2023. Are you getting the same trend date value? Basically, you should have something in A1 cell. We just did that exercise. So in case you are struggling over there, just type something in A1, that is point number 1, and then okay, so we get this evaluation here. Okay, I think Krishnaji is comfortable now. If you have something in A1, it will be picked up. In that case, let me move ahead. This is my watch window.
Just a
Yes.
small question, can I?
Yeah.
Just, even without, defining the variable trend date or assigning a value to trend date, suppose I say the transaction date is, and then I try to pick up the value available in A1 cell, then again I'll see the same thing, no? Only thing is that I will not see February and all, whatever the way in which I have written, it will come or not.
Right.
Is my question clear, sir? Hello?
So your point is that instead of picking this up, so it can be written in the this thing. Could you please repeat yourself? Sorry, I think I lost somewhere in the middle.
No, I'll repeat, sir. See, my question is, suppose, see here what I have done is that I have said I have assigned the value available in A1 cell to the variable trend date,
Right.
and then I have reproduced that variable value of the variable after the text portion of the transaction date is, right? After that
Correct.
alert. Okay. Now, what I'm saying is that without telling anything about translate is to range A1, suppose I say alert is equal to the transaction date is ampersand range A1, will that value directly get picked up?
Yeah. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever you write. So you could have
No,
even given reference to A1. I think you are talking about a cell reference to A1, right?
correct. So, I mean, I understood.
Yeah.
I was
It's the
just trying
same
to
thing. So what I've
yes.
done is, you could have written that in a single step. Now I'm taking 2 steps. I'm saying trended is range A1, and then alert is this and trended. Alternately, you can also write it this way. Another way of writing that is
Okay. Right, sir. I
alert
understood.
is nothing else but this one. Okay, you have understood. But for knowledge of everyone, I'm just demonstrating.
Okay.
So
Sorry,
both these
sorry.
are equivalent, either this or this. Okay, if you write it this way, then you don't need this line. This line can be dispensed with. Okay, but I normally prefer, and I will strongly recommend, especially at this stage, take baby steps, take easy steps, and simplicity of your program, easy way of writing the program, making it easy for anybody to read and understand. This has a precedence over efficiency. Even if you take 4 steps and you end up going a little slow, no problem. But you yourself should be able to understand it, read and understand it after say 6 months or 1 year. Anyone else who is reviewing your work, he should be able to follow. And you should stay in control of your composition. You try to write a long statement and then you goof up, fumble in that. It won't be of any use. Right? Let me check if there are any questions in the chat box. So Anuradha ji has a question. The candidate is populated by immediate window is showing the output as false. Immediate window. I don't know what is your expression. You might have written something, some expression in immediate window. Corresponding to that, it is writing false. That is evaluation. So maybe you have made a statement You have made some kind of a statement. Maybe you put the entire thing. I suppose what you might have done is might have copied this entire thing. If I do something like this, what I'm doing is I'm trying to ask, are these two things equal? Now in immediate window, in immediate you try to evaluate. You are not really assigning values to variables, but you are evaluating. So what do I have in alert? I have this value. Here it is some value. Okay. So this is LHS RHS, and now if I press enter, I'm getting true. So I'm getting true over here. I don't know how you define your statement, but the way you defined it at the end of it, if you evaluate it, then you might get false. So true or false are just Boolean values. They just tell that okay, this is true, this is false. So thanks Anuradha ji for reproducing your. So it's something similar. Okay, you have allied on the left side and the other things on the right side. Now they are no more equal. So that's where you are getting false. For some reason, alert value has got revised. Maybe you were trying a few things along with me, and in that process, alert value got revised a bit. So even if there are cosmetic differences, like with respect to cell format and this that, still it will return false. Okay. All right. This seems to be comfortable pace. Okay. Now I think this so far we are so good. So now I'll do one more thing. Let me scroll a bit. Now I'll again maximize it. Here it is. Now we talk about using other options of MSG box. MSG box at its basic level, I hope is clear to everybody. So using other options. Now, if I go somewhere and if I simply write, anywhere, if I come here, don't write along with me, just observe. MSG box open bracket. Okay, if I go to any blank space and if I write MSG box open bracket, I get these arguments the way you have your Excel functions. Correct? Okay, this was always the situation, but we did not use this previously. Now let us explore that. So these are some options here.
Wrong timing of picture and
Just requesting everyone to keep your mics on mute mode, please. Okay, somebody's mic is on. Okay, thank you. So now let me proceed. I think screen sharing is still on, right? Now the next one is, sorry, I lost my link somewhere. So we have these arguments here. Let us explore these arguments. So what I'll do is, I'll come down, user underscore yes no as VB message box result. So this is the variable type. See, Excel has thought of even this, that you may like to involve some variables. They are of the category VB MSG box result. So only an MSG box result can be caught by them. Okay. So you might have agree, disagree, can't say those things written anyhow. Okay. Let us see. Should we? Let's try that. User underscore yes no equal to MSG box. Now what are the arguments? I want you to make an apple by apple comparison. Here's MSG box. Here is the set of arguments. I want you to try it. Okay, what do we see? Prompt. The first argument is prompt. What do we see over here? I'm getting a compile error here because I have not got rid of this. First, I need to get rid of this red colored one. Okay, now I'll run this. Forget it, I'll tell you the arguments. Okay, even if you close bracket and open it here, then also you get the arguments. The first argument is prompt. What kind of message do you want to flash? So I want to flash the message, do you wish to clear the cell D1? Okay, a very simple example. If you look at D1 cell, okay, you have some value over here, don't you? Okay. Okay, this is the prompt. Everybody is with me. Hello. Please confirm because then otherwise I get a little confused.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because this is a little tedious possibly. This is the prompt, whatever I have highlighted in blue color. Then how will you respond to this? This is a question. Okay, previously I was saying this is the transaction date. This was information. Or prior to that I was just saying life is great. That is just an assertive statement. But over here it's a question. It's an interrogative question. If you look at the grammar part of it, it's interrogative in nature. And as a result, okay, we have these buttons. BB yes, no. Because if the question is asked, the answer could be yes or no. You can't have just one button. It will be unfair. So give two buttons, maybe three buttons also, but at least two buttons. Yes or no. You click on that and accordingly I capture your response. So whether you have said yes or no will depend upon which button you click. So first of all, how the buttons will come thanks to this next argument. Okay, the second argument if you see here, the second argument is buttons. Third argument is the title. Okay, can you see title? Okay. There are some more, but then we skipped. Only till here we reached. We thought that it's okay. Discuss for now. Now if I press F8, and I think I'll just put a block here. Now just observe what happens. I put a breakpoint here, and now I'm going to press F8. When I do so, I get this. Look at all the elements carefully. This is the title. Okay. Now question is asked for which yes and no, those two options are there. Why only these two options? Why not a cancel option? Why not some different type of option? Because very obviously you have gone for BBS no. Now when you say BBS no, you are responsible. Okay. Should I now respond? Okay, first I'll start with no. Do you wish to clear the cell D1? No. I say no. I click the button no. And now the variable is this. Variable is user underscore yes no. User underscore yes no is a variable which is trying to capture value from here. Okay, can we try this?
Sir, is it that this number of buttons is decided by this portion VBS no?
Yes. That's exactly what it is. BBS no is yes and no buttons.
Suppose
There
I
are
wanted,
other types also.
suppose I wanted three buttons, then what will be there? Like
Okay, so I'll just demonstrate. Okay, I'll just write some dummy code. Okay, ABC equal to MSG box. Then I open bracket. Now the first argument is prompt. So in a pair of double inverted comma, I write something. Now the second argument is button. When I put a comma, I get to choose the buttons. So suppose you want a button for BB yes no cancel. Okay. So
Yes.
you can go for VB yes no cancel. What it will do is yes, no, and cancel. 3 buttons. Okay, maybe you will have to keep searching. Where is it gone? Sorry, I clicked elsewhere. Okay, I think it's down somewhere. Ah, here it is. VB okay cancel. Then the last one, in fact, if you scroll and come to the fag end of the list, you have VB yes no cancel. So these are the 3 buttons. If you go for this one, then you will get all the 3 buttons.
So does it mean that we can go only for these predefined buttons?
Yes, yes. You can have your own set of buttons.
Okay, okay.
Okay. There is a predefined set. You can go only for that. Do you want to go beyond that? Then we enter into a subject matter called user form, which we don't want to do it as a part of this 10 days webinar series. Maybe someday in future we can gather again for advanced concepts in Excel VBA. Okay, assuming that you already know these basics, then we can discuss some more advanced ones. Maybe at that point of time we'll see. Right now we are not seeing user form, but since you have asked the question, the actual answer for that question is not no. Okay, you can have your buttons, definitely not MSG box, but then the answer is user forms. So you create a user form for yourself. Naveen Sharma has a question. Do we have just give space after command in com? Okay. Do we have, sorry, Naveen has asked this question, it's escaped my mind. Do we have give space after comma in command? Yeah, that space is automatically caught. I think you are talking about this space. Even if you don't give space, you press down arrow key, it will create space. Okay, these things you can't handle. The space is automatically managed. The making the commands capital is automatically managed. So I just go on composing. Okay, coming back to this one, in VB user yes no, the command is the code is 7. 7 is equivalent to no. So if user underscore yes no equal to VBS, then is it VBS? I'll just press F8 because it was not VB. Yes, what I had done was so it was not yes in any case. It was no. So we bypass this criteria, and then this command will be. So we see a very interesting structure over here, and this structure. Okay, this is the line. If you study this line carefully, the structure we have can be generalized this way: if, then, and else. So you have an if which lays down the logic. If that logic is satisfied, then something will happen. If the logic is not satisfied, then something else will happen. So that's written here in a single line. Can you see? Because user yes no. If user underscore yes no equal to VBS, but it wasn't yes, it was no. So it went to the else part. Else, what will be the message box? If I press F8, it will show me cell D1 has not been cleared. Because I told it that this whatever I have over here, I want to have a choice. D1 is very much. Now the next one, probably I'll run it this once more before I go to the next one. What if we press yes? That's another idea. So the idea is this way. If I click and drag this behind, you know this, you can click and drag this behind. And if I bring it back over here, user underscore yes, no, what happens? When I press F8, do you wish to clear the cell D1? Now I'll press yes. Last time I pressed no. So please pay attention in D1. I have got this statement. Dare you clear me? I press yes. Okay, let's see what happens. I press yes. If user underscore yes no equal to VBS, is the condition satisfied? You can check this in immediate window. Okay, so this part. Sorry, this part. This much part I'll copy. I just clear my immediate window. It will be confusing. You can just do a control A and just backspace and remove everything. Then put a question mark and then I paste this. User underscore yes no equal to VBS. Now here I have got an LHS, RHS and I am trying to evaluate. So then while evaluating, you will compare them like an equation and you will say that this condition is satisfied or not satisfied as the case may be. If I put only one side without putting the other side, there is no question of it being equal to something or something. Its evaluation will be some answer. So this is 6. VBS. Can I evaluate VBS? Ever tried that? If you try to evaluate even that, also gives you 6. So user underscore yes no, by virtue of the button that we pressed, the command that got stored is 6. Okay, so now I'll just finish the execution at both the places. I hope everyone can see in the immediate window also is visible. So now I'll just restore it. Does it go? Yeah. Now let's evaluate. I press F8. I come here, range D1 dot clear. Now if I press F8, and this I would like to do in while looking at D1. So D1 does have some kind of a content. Now when I press F8, whatever was written in D1 has gone. Have you understood this part? This might have sounded a bit tedious, but if you spend some time with this will be extremely easy, self-explanatory, and then you will have slightly better hold. Okay, the way you do things. So here, effectively, what I have done is I have captured a real-time response. Okay, the program is being run in between. The command is such that in front of the user on a real-time basis, I ask this question, yes or no. The user may respond yes also. The user may respond no also. And I have accordingly my preparations, but then I just need to understand from the user at the time of execution. Otherwise, my work won't be executed. If it is yes, I'll go in one direction, in one approach. If it is no, I'll go with another approach. But I need to finish. Okay. Is everybody clear? You need to spend some more time with MSG box. Okay, what I've shared is like bare essentials. 80 to 90% times this much is sufficient. But just to have a little better control, you can explore MSG box and its different options. But for now, with your permission, I would like to move ahead.
Can you
Before that, any question?
Can you one some small thing? So when
Please go ahead.
when we were doing the break F8 for the line, if else, if user yes no is then range clear, then else. So there was a command before else and after else. So this F8 has to be done twice for that if else to be fully executed.
Correct, correct, correct. You
So
are
and
absolutely correct.
after the after the LC is executed, only the cell gets cleared. The
Okay.
first step, what I observed is when I press F8 first, it came up to the D1 clear, but the D1 was not
Right.
cleared. And then it was in else, and again I pressed F8, then the else was also executed, only then the cell got cleared. Is my observation right?
Yeah.
That if else was, supposed to say the if else was getting executed in two F8s, and after both the F8s are completed,
Correct.
only cell got cleared.
Correct.
Not when the
So
first part.
first F8, yeah, that's absolutely correct. First F8 is just for the evaluation. And
Okay.
based on the evaluation, you are at a crossroad actually, where you can go at two places. If the
Okay.
evaluation says yes or true, then this way, else this way. Now, which of the two need to be executed? Because in a given situation, you won't have both getting executed. Either whatever is written after then or whatever is written after else, but not both. Okay, not both.
Okay.
Right. So that's where it has to be executed in two parts. Ordinarily, that's a good observation, sir. Good observation. Ordinarily, what happens is all the lines are executed at once. Oh, I did not press enter. I just typed it here. So ordinarily, all lines are executed at once. Like the entire line is executed at once. But if command is an exception to it. Good observation.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. So let's now move to the next part. Next part is name underscore input. I'll just put a breakpoint over here and remove the previous one. Okay, now we'll go to input box. Now, how is input box different from message box? We have got ourselves briefly introduced to message box. In input box, what happens is whatever real-time input you want, and if that input is not straightforward like yes, no, cancel, retry, those kind of standard inputs, but it could be absolutely any kind of input value. In that case, we plan an input box. Input box can capture a response on a real-time basis, and then it can store somewhere. Okay, let's see an example of that. So I would like to just minimize this window. Arey yaar, what happened? Screen got hanged up. Okay, can everyone see this? Okay, can everybody see this now? Okay. Now, what's the next command? Here I am. Name underscore input equal to input box. What is your name? Okay, what is your name is the prompt for the input box. When you press F8, line is not executable statement. I made some mistake, did I? For some reason it's showing that way. Are you getting this error? I'm getting this error. Line is not an executable statement. Are you getting that error?
No, sir.
I
Could
don't know,
it be
something
because
went
of that
wrong.
ABC is equal to message box by any chance, or
This one, but that is somewhere at the back.
correct, correct.
This happened. Did I happen to type anything? Okay, let me just check. I'm also not able to figure out. Let me remove this. name underscore input as string. Okay, now I got, because I put a breakpoint, it was somehow stopping. Stuff funny. Okay, just because I put a breakpoint, it is stopping. Don't my comprehension. But now is everyone getting this? Okay, this is known as input box. What is input box? As a name might suggest, I'm supposed to give you an input. What is your name? Now, how do I know anybody's name? I cannot foresee, I cannot give you a drop down, or I cannot give you option buttons or check boxes for that. So I'll give you a simple yes happen. Okay, something has gone wrong. There is a multi-selection. Just I'll reopen this particular thing. Okay, somehow there was some error. Okay, this should be good. Okay, something happened. I just pressed a few buttons. Now it's okay. Now I'll come here very quickly. Name underscore input. When I press F8, I get this. I write my name. You can write your name. Okay, stay with me. I hope you are stopping till here. You waited patiently. Now let us go ahead. What is your name? I wrote my name. Now if I press OK, what Excel should do is Excel should simply capture it, and it has done that. So name underscore input is my name. You might have typed your own name. Okay, your name, my name doesn't matter. Some of the other name is here. Name underscore input equal to input box. What is your name? This is my name. Range A2 equal to name underscore input. Okay, so I'll just come to A2. There is nothing in A2 I would like to highlight. And now if I just minimize this a bit or restore. And now if I press F8, just see what happens to A2. Now that name gets parked. Okay, the name gets parked. Have you understood what is the basic idea of an input box? Again, input box is also trying to seek an input from you, but that input is on a real-time basis. Okay, on a real-time basis, we are trying to identify what is the input. Okay, as a developer, I don't know what is the input, so I just leave it to the user. So while the execution of the macro happens, I can flash notifications, I can ask user whether it is yes or no, or I can ask user what is your name, I can accordingly seek some inputs. Okay.
So that input box, it gets populated only once we come out of that execution. So in case I give some
Yes.
other commands, like I pick up something in the input box and I process it further. So only my final end result will get displayed
Correct.
over there. No?
Correct. So you are picking up some input from the user at the time of execution on a real-time basis. What you do with that is your choice. So here for a simple demonstration, I'm just pouring that value in range A2. But you can multiply that number, you can divide that number, make it 10 parts and store them in 10 different cells. All those things are possible. Okay. So what you do with that value is your prerogative. I'm only highlighting the possibility that yes, you need not know everything in advance. If there are certain things happening on the spot, you can capture them and you can store them or use them.
So if I have to check whether that input has got captured properly prior to the steps, so I'll have to again go to the immediate window and execute parts of it and see.
Yeah. Either immediate window or you can simply have the watch window,
Okay.
which will keep flashing that name underscore input. So your basic variable value is name underscore input. Now you might do a multiplied by 5, multiplied by 10. That's another thing. So this you can keep watching if it's a critical point for you. Then put that in watch window. It will keep showing you what's the score right now, what value is being assumed by that variable. Got it?
Okay, sir.
Fine, then let's move ahead. Input box with some other options. So just as we have the message box, MSG box, and it gave us a feeling of a function. Now input box is also the same thing. There are some similar things. I will explore a few of them. So you can have a prompt. Okay, what do I mean by prompt? The message. You can have a title, you can have a default value, then X pos, Y pos. This is basically position. X position, Y position, and then some more arguments are there. Frankly, I have not used all of them. Okay, what we are going to see, the options that are primarily important are the first three. X position and Y position will decide its position on your screen. Okay, so we have this default value if you want. Okay, so input number 3 is default, input number 2 is title, and prompt is compulsory. Okay, the compulsory inputs are simply written, whereas the optional ones are in a pair of square brackets. Okay, this is true in Excel functions also. Let's do one thing, let's explore this. So the next two commands are dim country input as string. So country is a variable here. Country underscore input is a variable, and that has been defined as string. Okay. I'm just reading this because they are not really executed. They are just declaration. The real one is DEF. DEF is a variable. It can store string values, and now I'm going to assign a value. Before I do so, it's a blank. But when I press F8, now I get DEF equal to India. Easy to follow. What is the value of DEF? DEF equal to India. Country underscore input. So country underscore input is the next variable, and how is it defined? Okay. Now what do we have? The first, we have number of arguments here. Everybody has reached till here. What is your country? This is the prompt. The first argument is prompt. Second argument is title. Second argument is title. And third argument is default value. Okay, let's try executing it and let's see how it behaves. Okay, so now I'm going to flash it. I suppose many of you have followed this. Let me see if you have any question. I'll just park it over there. Let me see if I press F8, does it help? What is your country? Can you see? This is your prompt. This is your title. This is your default value. If I expect most of the enrollments in my course or something to be from Indians, then for this question, I would like to give them a default, and that way they can escape from the data entry. Okay, so just give them a default value, and then you can accept the default value, not take any.
So what is your country? Question appears, and down the input appears country input. We have put India, so it appears. We have something country in quotes. What is that for?
Oops.
That string which we are using. What is this?
Sorry, you were asking something. Actually, I received a WhatsApp call at that very moment, and
Sir, our
there was a.
statement
I
is
couldn't hear you. Please repeat, your
our
question.
statement
Yeah,
is country input is equal to input box. What is your country? That is getting
correct.
displayed. And DEF variable may we are capturing India, so that is getting displayed. Now, what is the use
Correct.
of this quotes may country which we have put after that, after the question?
That is the title. So if
So
I
where,
run it once more, just observe. Okay, in quotes we have used country. So if I press F8, can you see title over your country? This word. What you get in this white strip at the top? That is your title.
okay, sir, got it.
Got it. And then I would like to pour it on range A3. Okay. So A3 is blank. I would like to pour it there. When I press F8, I get this. Okay, India written. Getting the point? Or alternately, I could have gone for some other country. So although default is India, if I press F8, I get the country. I may not go for this country. I may go for some other country. For example, France. I may say, okay, France is my country. Okay, no problem. When I press OK, now the country input value is France. I can pour it on A3. When I press F8, the old value of A3 is replaced by the new value of A3, which is France. Okay, so default is given for your convenience, but you can always overwrite it.
Sir, I have one observation. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure.
When the box comes, there are two buttons in the OK and cancel. Okay. So if I press OK and execute it, the country gets picked up in cell A3. When I put cancel, nothing happens. Okay. But what is to be done if I press cancel karke, I have not written anything in my commands. So I mean, can I know what is that? Is it built in that if you press cancel, nothing else should happen, something like that, and the next line should get executed only if you press OK in the box? Is there anything inbuilt in that one? Because I do not expressly tell anything to the system that if you cancel, don't do anything. If you press OK, only you do something. That's not written by me. So can
So
that be?
normally in cancel, what happens is it simply proceeds actually.
Okay.
So it
So,
simply proceeds,
so
and
even though I do not write that in my commands, this Visual Basic Library takes care of that, right?
right.
Okay.
Many of these things actually. But then I'm discussing certain lines of code which are not which may be present in the library, but definitely it cannot be recorded. Like whatever we discussed till now over here cannot be recorded. This has to be typed.
Okay.
That's the only thing. Okay, the next part, to put checkbox in a particular cell. Okay, so if you want to place a checkbox. So what is checkbox? Checkbox is a tick mark. Okay, active sheet dot checkboxes says. Now this is a pretty long sentence, so I would like to read it in English. Active sheet में checkboxes को डालिए. If I use the Hindi prepositions, it makes life admirably simple. The VBA will start talking to you. Active sheet में checkboxes ओके सो एक्टिव शीट में चेकबॉक्स ऐड करना है, ये पहली बात है. अच्छा, आगे है उसके डायमेंशंस. सो वी हैव द डायमेंशन साइड ऑफ दैट. नाउ समथिंग वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग आई एम डूइंग ओवर हियर. You can simply write active sheet dot checkboxes dot add. Even this is sufficient. You could have written it this way: active sheet dot checkboxes. Okay, this command is also accepted. You are not getting any syntax error. So what do you have after that? Like after add, if I open a bracket, it's not showing by default. But what you might do is you might show these cell references. I think we got this by Googling. If you observe, we have cells 5, 4. What do we see over here? Can someone explain? I have highlighted in blue color. This is nothing else but a cell, right? Cells 5, 4, fifth row and fourth column. Fifth row and fourth column is D5. So that's here. Okay. What I'm going to do? Active sheet dot checkboxes dot add. So where to add in this cell? And then there are 4 dimensions actually. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now observe very carefully. We have the 4 corners, they are getting defined. Cells 5, 4 dot left. Where to add? On the left side of cells 4, 5, 4, on the top side of cells 5, 4, on the width, along the width, and along the height. Okay. Now let's just observe what happens in D5. Observe very carefully. I'm just trying to take pauses in between so that people can read. Okay, you are supposed to read and try to understand. While I'm trying to tell you the meaning, but I want you to read and be familiar. So now on 4 corners, 5, 4 is there as a checkbox size. When I press F8, you can see the checkbox size. Can you? The checkbox goes perfectly like that. Okay. Next, with selection. Now, by default, your selection is your checkbox. Okay, if macro is running it, no problem. As a human, I went elsewhere. But when macro is running, this happens in a split second, and then it says with selection. Okay. And now what we'll do with the selection? We'll change its caption, we'll change its value, we'll change its link cell, and so on. Okay, just see if anything happens. There is one more point I want to make, but I'll come to that. But before that, let's just run it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press F8. Dot caption. Okay, so now just observe. When I press F8, can you see any change? Now I got this I agree. Dot value equal to Excel on. So it could be Excel on or Excel off. So what value do you want? Do you want this checkbox to be ticked by default or empty by default? So if I press F8, now it is ticked by default. Okay, and link cell. Do you want to capture the fact that it is ticked in another cell? Now this is more important from the perspective of a user form, but occasionally you might require it. This property is there, I'm sharing with you. So link cell, what is your link cell? My link cell is C5. So I'm going to press F8 and in C5 cell I get true. Okay, everybody is with me now? We are getting this true. What if you unselect this? If I click here, this becomes false. If I click here once more, then true. I can keep switching between the two. Okay, because this checkbox is now linked with C5. The command for that is dot link cell. And now you have the command end with, which you must do, otherwise you will be in trouble. So you have to press F8. Okay. Before we also press F8 once more and finish the subroutine, I would like to draw your attention to this very interesting. Okay, so with end with is what exactly? With and end with, we are seeing it for the first time, I believe. What is with and end with? So with a particular thing, if you want to do number of things, then you can have a little economy by saying with and end with. I mean, an alternative to this could have been this way. Okay, just observe, you need not do that. I could have written it this way. Selection dot caption equal to I. Then again selection dot value है ना. Okay, are you getting the point? Selection dot. Can you see the red color is red because this is an error. Okay, no. And so on. Are you getting my point? Nothing wrong in this. You could have written these 3 lines. There was absolutely nothing wrong. Okay, but then just some people thought, can we have, selection is like a common factor. Selection is more like a common factor here. What I'm going to do is selection. I write only once. I write here with selection. Okay, with selection dot. Sorry, not dot. Dot comes on the next line. Oh, I'm not able to demonstrate. It will reset my project. I'm actually close to reset, but still I'll avoid that. Just imagine I'm typing it here. Okay, with selection is written, and then I take a line break, and then I put a dot caption equal to I agree, dot value, dot link cell, dot alana, dot falana. You can go on like this. Are you getting my point? So this selection is like a common factor which I have taken out. And with selection, what you would like to do? I would like to do a point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, point number 10. And once you finish all your 10 points, then you say end with. I started a with, okay, and now I'm ending my with a particular thing, with a particular object. I would like to do multiple things. Where do I end? I end it here. Have you understood the structure with and end with? Okay, I just took the opportunity to discuss because the command was such that I got this opportunity to discuss with and end with. Okay, incidentally. Okay, questions if any on with and with. Have you understood this structure? Okay, it's just a little more efficiency because selection word need not be repeated. Okay, it's like how we use pronouns, If I refer to a person called Ram, suppose. Okay, so how do I use that? Ram went to school. He went by bus. He came back later. Then I will number of times I use he. I won't say that Ram went to school, Ram came back, Ram ate his food, Ram slept. That repetition sounds odd. So we use the word only once. We use the name only once, and then we use pronouns like he, she, or it, or something like that. So with and with is something like that. You can relate it with that. Yes, somebody was asking something. Somebody wanted to ask something. So, by the way, if there are no questions.
So I have one question on this.
Yeah, please.
This is not exactly the usage of with the end with. See that particular portion when I got executed. See the caption got over. See that the caption default caption checkbox 1. The caption I agree got overwritten over that. The checkbox one still remained there. It did not get replaced. So the words I agree came on top of that. So I'm not able to read I agree clearly. This is how it has happened. And the whole thing is staying there and I'm not able to remove it also. Is there any clarification on that?
So something has gone above this I agree.
Okay.
Maybe another how does it look like? You have another checkbox on top of this checkbox.
No, checkbox is not there, but the words I agree apparently, the checkbox one, the default caption stays there, and the words I agree has got overwritten on that. I mean, apparently, I'm not able to make out clearly.
Okay.
So it is some mix-up sort of thing like. Yes, that's exactly what has happened. I'm able to magnify it and see it.
Yeah, where I'm a little fogged as to what happened. What happened? Maybe you can post a screenshot of that on this chat if that's possible, or maybe
Okay.
share your screen
No, sir, because I'm doing it on desktop separately and I'm attending this
separately.
on my laptop. So that this Excel sheet
Oh,
and whatever. Anyway, sir, the thing is, I mean, what can you do to remove the whole thing from the Excel sheet and redo it?
okay. Just in case you want to remove it,
Uh,
you just do a right click on it. Like as you bring your mouse pointer close to that, you can see
okay,
because it's a clickable checkbox. You get this hand
okay,
icon. Then do a
okay.
right click. It gets selected, and then press delete key. Okay,
Delete.
now that it is selected, you press delete key. Now
I
just see
got
after deleting, do you get I agree below it?
no. When I deleted the checkbox and the words checkbox one that stays there. Okay, again I'll do delete.
I think
Okay.
multiple checkboxes have got introduced to
No,
come
the
over
whole thing
here.
has gone now. Two times I did that right click and
Okay.
it was not delete, it was only cut. No delete was appearing, but it went off. Okay, so I can
No,
again run it.
delete doesn't appear.
Uh,
Delete should appear, but
Only cut was there. I cut it and removed it. That's what I did.
you
Delete
can do
button
cut. So
was appearing right.
that is a makeshift arrangement because cut still gets loaded on your clipboard.
I understand. I understand.
So if you really want to delete, you can press delete key. Okay,
Okay.
delete key when you press, then it gets deleted.
Anyway, it has gone now.
Correct.
That I'll try what is to be used.
Yeah,
Now
please try it again.
I'll again run
And
the and then see how it will
yeah,
work.
otherwise, maybe you can take a screenshot of that and share it. So then we can
Now,
see.
now let me just see whether it works. One,
Just try it.
box three, and then
Okay, in the meantime, for everyone,
now
I'll
this
just
works
close
okay, sir.
this.
Now this
Now
has
this
worked.
works.
Okay. Now this has worked
Okay,
okay.
great.
Thank
So one more question here. The I agree box will remain ticked, right? I'm not able to deselect the tick from the checkbox when I click on the.
So you need to come here and click on this rectangle. Maybe actually anywhere over here it's okay. You can
I
click anywhere.
tried multiple times, but it's still remaining as a ticked checkbox.
Okay, try doing one thing. Just do a right click over here, and then you come to format control. If you do a right click on that and then format control,
Okay.
and see whether you have anything here. But I don't see any
Oh,
such property.
yeah, I see the value as the check option is selected and the cell link, there's a ref error.
Correct.
Okay.
So in your case, checked is selected.
Yes.
So can I uncheck it? But still, I can uncheck it. You are checking it through that property once,
Mm-hmm.
but I am able to uncheck it. I think that's not the problem. Again, for you, I'll suggest that you can try it once more in a blank worksheet. Maybe
Okay.
you can rerun that portion of the code using D5 or L5 or something like that
Okay.
and see whether that helps. You run it
Okay.
for the second time.
Sure. Thank you.
What I'll do is I'll press F8 and that's the end of this procedure. Okay, has everyone understood these topics. Okay, what we have discussed is message boxes and input boxes, and towards the end, check box also we discussed. And as a part of that, we discussed with and end with in this particular portion also. Okay. So we are through as far as this lesson is concerned. Uh, with dialog boxes we are through. I think one or two small topics were there. Sir had. I think I'll go for one or two small topics, and it was with respect to labels. Okay, I think this could be the last discussion that we can have today. Where are labels discussed? Or rather, I'll go for each next loop. Okay, labels is something we'll see as a part of another macro, but we can go for this for each next loop. Or okay, let's open up this one. I request everyone to open up this number 7 file. Okay, I'm doing a long jump here. Okay, from 3 I'm directly jumping to 7, and I'm going to use this one. Again, my file is getting downloaded from internet. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll do a right click on this file, properties, and I'll unblock it. Apply. The file has been unblocked. Now I open it. I'll enable the macros. For each loop, next for a range of cells. Okay, what's the idea? Now, this is a ready-made macro. Actually, I have a ready-made macro. It's a very small portion. You can very easily read it and finish it. Okay, before I go ahead with that, okay, I would like to quickly compute over here, maybe over here, an average. Okay, we have learned the function called average. Very simple function. If I highlight this range and close the bracket, the average is 50.96. So average is arithmetic mean. You see the average function I can discover here that the average is 50.96. So I'm just and now there is a task. All the values above average should be highlighted in a particular way, maybe in a particular color. So if you want to achieve this programmatically by way of writing a program, maybe you will compose a program like this. Okay, so now in this file, just come to developer tab, Visual Basic, and when you do so, maybe you can close the previous file just in case that's causing confusion. And I request you to come to this special underscore ranges. Okay, we have a module called special underscore ranges within which there is a procedure or a subroutine called special underscore ranges. Okay, and we are going to now quickly talk about for each next loop. Okay, for each next loop is again a loop. Last time we discussed loops in detail, and that loop is on a range of cells. Okay, when you want to work with a range of cells, you can go for each next loop. Okay, is everyone ready with this? Can we just examine this macro? Okay, so let's start the F8 way. I think I'll slightly increase my speed now. Yeah, I've been going extremely slowly. Okay. But now slowly, steadily, now I'll change the gears. Because now we are familiar. F8, again F8, we get started. Okay, the variables are declared. Which variables are declared? So for convenience, I have listed all the variables in a single line. In a single line from left to right, all the variables get declared. Cell is a variable here. And cell you can see the word cell is without capital. But if you use the word cells, then cells makes C capital. If you write simply cell, that won't become capital. So cell can be used as a variable, but cells will become a command. So dim cell as range. Your cell should not be confused with cell as an object, but basically it is declared as something that can contain a range. Okay, so the variable cell may contain one cell or a collection of cells. Region as another variable which is of the same type. Again, region will contain one cell or many cells. AVG is another variable. It has been defined as double. So double is a type, numeric type, and it's a fairly big one. So all numbers or most of the numbers can be covered. And then I use the set command. Set command is used when you want to assign a value to a variable. You can use set command or you can take some liberty and not use set command. Okay, but then set command is used by many programmers. So let us get introduced so that we don't find it unfamiliar. What set is doing is it is just assigning a value to the variable. So my variable is region. And what is my region? How do I define it? I go to my range A1 and I take the entire current region about it. Have you seen this word current region before? Have you seen this not current region before? What we did on day one in the recording. If you see the recorded macro, do I have it? See this one with macro, right? If I show you the recording, I'll better download it. It's just making life complicated unnecessarily. So I'll do one simple thing. I'll download it, like the other file. Okay, the other one was. Okay, here's the folder. Now talking about this one, let me quickly unblock it. It's a .xlsm, so I'll unblock it. And now if I open it, you remember this was the recording and this was the line selection.currentRegion.select. So range A1 and then control asterisk, that was the keyboard shortcut for selection.currentRegion. Okay, now coming back to the special ranges. Okay, in special ranges, I'll close this file. In special ranges, what is written is range A1.currentRegion. Let's press F8. Unfortunately, I can't show this value because now the entire region along A1 is captured in region. So if you bring your mouse pointer, you won't be able to see anything. Okay, nothing is visible. So range A1, we have the range A1 and about it, the entire current region. Range A1.currentRegion is what we can see here. And AVG equal to application.worksheet function.average of region. So we have a variable called region within which we have captured the entire set of cells. Okay, and what is the average for that? We have already computed once. It is 50.96. Now this is being computed in the memory of Excel using VBA, and what it says is application.worksheet function dot average. Okay, what is the average? When I press F8, I get the value of AVG as 50.96. Have you understood why 50.96? Why not any other number? Okay, I'm just using the way I've done it in worksheet here. Instead of that, I'm invoking application.worksheet function command, and I'm doing this in the memory of Excel, in the memory of that program. Okay, average of region. Please compute average of the region, and region first of all is defined as the current region about A1. Has everyone followed these two lines?
So, excuse me, sir. So, region could be only that particular column or the entire worksheet, or A, B, C, D.
No,
We can have numbers.
only that particular. See, whatever is around this, if you come here and if you press Control asterisk, what gets highlighted? That is your current region. Current region. It's not the entire worksheet. Only the current region.
If we have any numbers in column B or C, they will be selected.
They will get selected. Continuous region will get selected.
Okay.
Okay, any continuous region will be selected, but then if you have something directly in each column, that won't come. Okay, you see, it's equivalent to pressing Control asterisk. You can try pressing Control asterisk in various ways. If I type something here, okay, now there is something here. If I stand here and if I press Control asterisk, then A column is covered, but that is not covered. Why? Because there is a gap. But then if I put something here, and now if I press Control asterisk, then A, B, and even C, because I've got my formula in C column. So this becomes a current region. So a continuous set of cells being used, okay, where you have a gap at the entire column, then it will stop. Okay. That is what we mean by current region. Yeah. And now we have a loop here. Now let's see how this loop works. For each cell in region, what is your region? Region, the way it got defined, it includes all these A column values. Okay. And what am I doing with that? With them? If cell dot value is greater than average, then cell dot interior dot color index equal to 70. This may not be very difficult to understand. For each cell, cell is a variable here. Okay, don't go with the understanding that we are talking about cell as an object. Okay, but for each cell in region, when I press F8, you don't need a lower limit and upper limit, because you are doing for each item in a range. Region is a range, correct? So each and every cell will be considered automatically. And what will you do if cell dot value is greater than average? Look at the first one to begin with. What is cell dot value? If you bring your mouse pointer, it will show you 45. The first cell's value is 45. What is your average? Your average is 50.96. Is it greater? The answer is no. Because it is not greater, it will skip it and it will come down. Next cell. Okay. So next command we know. When I press F8, it goes up. And now the next cell. So the first cell was not greater than the arithmetic mean. So we went down. Now the second one. Cell dot value is 42. Okay, now the second cell in the range, its value is 42. Is 42 greater than the average? Again, the answer is no. So again, it comes down. Okay. Now again F8. Now, in the third round, your cell value is 71. So is 71 greater than that 50.96? The answer is yes. 71 is indeed greater than 50.96. Okay, then cell dot interior dot color index will be 70. Okay, so paint it with the color number 70. When I press F8, I get this color. Okay, you may ask me that how do you know for this color it's 70? So basically what we do is practically we choose our color from the palette. We do a recording, and when we do the recording, we go to home tab and then we choose the color from here. Maybe I'll click on more colors and I'll choose my color. Okay, I'll perform a recording. I'll choose my color and then automatically some color index will get generated. I'll use that in my map. Okay, so this number 17 I did not know. There was no other way to know it. Given a choice, I wouldn't have written it this way. But then different colors are
So
there are
one
different
question.
colors with different shades. Yeah.
Sir, how can I use immediate or watch in this for the continuous loop?
No, here you cannot use immediate or watch.
Okay.
Because the variables are such that your two primary variables are cell and region,
Hmm.
and both are ranges, and ranges cannot be used.
Okay.
At the most AVG, but AVG is not changing. Once you have understood what is
Fixed.
AVG,
Yeah.
then there is no great reason why you should involve that anywhere. So that won't really help you in this example. Okay. Then again F8. Now I think you will follow. Okay, F8, F8. Now the next one. What's the next one?
But sir, for the entire range, we have to do F8. It cannot be done in auto mode or something.
So we had seen this previously. Anyways, I'll just demonstrate it once more and then I'll address your question. Cell dot value equal to 77. So the row number 5 value is 77. 77 greater than average. Maybe this part, only this part you can check in either watch window or immediate window. Okay. It can be sometimes true, sometimes false. And then when you press F8, then it gets a color. Okay, once you have got the drift that okay, wherever the value is greater than average, it is being colored. Wherever it is less than average or equal to average, then you are not coloring it. Once you have got the point, you need not keep doing it. So what we had seen last time, you apply a breakpoint for the next command. Your next command is actually ends up, but even that is a command. You can apply a breakpoint here. Okay, with mouse just click and you will get this, and then press F5. Okay, F5 or this green button. Apply a breakpoint once you have done 3-4 rounds. You need not do it for all of them. And then just press this green button or F5. And then at once the entire loop is executed. Okay, entire loop is executed maybe thousands of times if required. And you get out of the loop, you are through. Then immediately remove the breakpoint and then in fact it is end sub. So you can press F8 and you can end it. That's it. Did you understand this program? How was this different than the previous one? So it was a for next loop. In the last session also we had learned for next loop. But here there is no lower limit, upper limit. I am talking about for each object. Okay, this object is a variable. Okay, variable is only for reference basically. But for each object in a range, and then I do something with that object based on a condition. Okay, this value is greater than what do I do with that object? I give it a color. Okay, so typically for each next loop, when you talk about for each next loop, this is always in the context of a range and you have cells within that. Okay, what will you have in a range? You will have a collection of cells. So what will you do with the cells? You will do something or the other. Okay, because range is your, what do you say? You are working on a range, so you don't need an upper limit or lower limit because for each object of that range, you will apply the loop. So it is understood that you need to keep doing it till you finish this entire range. So for each cell in region, till you finish the entire region, you have to keep doing it. So it's a variation of loop or it's a special case of for next loop, sorry, where you are working on a range. Okay, again, this kind of a command cannot get recorded. Okay, getting the point? Any questions? Anybody has any questions to ask?
So where to apply the toggle Bitcoin? Mine is not coming actually. So I was just trying
Where to apply?
toggle breakpoint like to run the entire account.
So see, for example, set region. Over here, you can just click in the margin. Here you can toggle. Click, click once more. Click once more.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay, not on every line. So you come to this line. In dim command, you cannot apply a breakpoint. Not on this green one. Okay. When it is an executable, in the sense its execution, like you execute it manually, that time you can have a breakpoint. These kind of commands are still executable. I'm not denying that, but they are executed directly. They are mere declarations actually. So declarations are executed the moment you start off at the beginning. All the declarations are executed by default. Yes, any other question? I think some messages are there. Asmiji, there was no additional file. I did not download any additional file.
Sir,
I
we
think,
got that.
okay. I think you are referring to the macro code library.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I thought what I downloaded just now.
I was also about to ask that. You said that in today's class you will share that code library.
Actually in Zoom we can share immediately. Here somehow we don't have the option to share. Otherwise in Zoom we can directly share it in the chat box itself. Okay. So I'll request maybe Vinayak Kulkarni sir or somebody from the WRC to just forward it by email to all the participants.
So we will share to the participants.
Okay. Okay, that's another point. But any questions on the different concepts that we discussed today? Okay, we saw message boxes, input boxes, and then for each next loop. I hope these concepts were clear to everyone. Okay. I think we don't have any questions, sir. Seems probably we can conclude for the day.
So anybody has any question? It seems everybody is now fine-tuned with Nachiket sir. And
Either that or it's 9:30 p.m. So beyond 9:30, nobody has any question.
But the sessions are going very well, and the participants are now settled with macros and this. And the way you are teaching the things are excellent, and we are very
Thank
much
you, sir.
thankful for the sessions that you are taking right now. And even many people who are not able to join webinar are seeing the recording, and they are also following the things. So we are very much thankful for your active and knowledge
Thank
sharing
you, sir.
session. I also thankful all the participants who are taking keen interest in the Excel macro, and it will definitely help in our day-to routine working and it will ease our working. So thank you very much all of you for remain present, and we'll see you on Wednesday's session. So thank you very much and have a good night. Thank you all.